In her past life, Bai Luoshang abandoned everything for the sake of so-called love and entered the Qi prince's mansion without hesitation. However, she sincerely fed the dog and did not live as well as a maid. In the end, she ended up dying of illness in the backyard. In this life, she decided to stay away from love and focus solely on her family, but her heart was stolen by someone cold and hot. How could this be broken? Chapter 1. Rebirth and Return from a Snowy Day. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bai Luoshang was awakened by the cold. As soon as she opened her eyes, she found herself lying in the cold snow, with snowflakes still floating in the sky, accumulating on her face. She propped up her arms and wanted to sit up. A wave of pain swept through her body, as if she was about to fall apart. With great difficulty, she slowly and unsteadily stood up, surrounded by a vast expanse of white. The snow had already fallen a bit thick, and the ground was covered in a thick layer. However, it was still evident that this was not the dilapidated Queen of Qi's mansion where she had been before. Moreover, she had previously set fire to the entire courtyard. Did someone save her from the fire? That's not right either. When setting fire, it's summer, right? Where did the snow come from? Before she could think it over, the cold wind made her tremble all over. We need to quickly find a shelter. Bai Luoshang pulled up her cloak. I just realized that the material of this cloak is quite good, with a circle of white fox fur rolling around. It looks a bit familiar to me, thinking that I haven't had such a good thing in the Qi prince's mansion before. The wind was blowing harder and harder, and Bai Yilan couldn't bear to think too much. Now she just wanted to find a place to take shelter from the wind. Looking around, there seemed to be a cave on the nearby cliff. Bai Yilan quickly walked towards the cave. Pop! Before taking a few steps, Bai Yilan tripped and fell to the ground, lying on a slightly soft object. What's this? Bai Yilan didn't care about the pain on her body and got up. She scraped the snow off it and saw a man's face. Prince Jing. How could he be here? Looking at the man in front of me, with a resolute face and a bone-deep scar across his left face, it was indeed Prince Jing. Although he looked younger than I had imagined, it was indeed him. Bai Luoshang quickly reached out and probed under Prince Jing's nose. There's still breathing, I'm not dead. He started dragging his clothes around the back of his neck towards the nearby cave. After resting a few times, I finally dragged the person into the cave. The cave doesn't look too big, with some firewood and broken clay jars left behind. It looks like a temporary resting place for hunters in the mountains. Bai Luoshang touched Prince Jing to see if she could find anything useful. Fortunately, she found a fire folder, brought firewood, lit a fire, and then found a fire jar. She put a snow rack on the fire to boil hot water. Thanks to years in the backyard of the Qi prince's mansion, she had to do everything on her own. Otherwise, in this icy and snowy world, she probably wouldn't even be able to burn a fire well. After finishing these things, Bai Luoshang finally had the time to come and see Prince Jing. Perhaps it was because of the fire that wasn't so cold. Prince Jing's face looked better, but still a bit pale. She poured some hot water and lifted Prince Jing's upper body to feed him some water, only to find that there was a big wound on Prince Jing's head, but the blood had temporarily stopped. We still need medicine, otherwise it would be troublesome to have a fever after such a big wound. Bai Yilan sighed as she watched the continuous heavy snowfall outside. I can only pray that the people of Prince Jing's mansion can come and find them. Bai Luoshang put down the broken jar in her hand and suddenly noticed that her hands were not as rough as she remembered, full of cracks. These hands were fair and tender, just like before she left the cabinet. She poured water into the depression of the stone, looked at herself in the water under the light of the water, and couldn't believe it. She touched her face, which was a young and tender face, delicate and stunning, just like her before her hair. Am I reborn? Bai Luoshang was incredulously stunned. Not long after, tears streamed down her face. It was joy, yes, it was God's favor for her. I will never step into the gate of the Qi Prince's mansion again in this life. Bai Luoshang said silently in her heart. After receiving the news of her rebirth, Bai Luoshang began to sort out the current situation. According to the situation in her previous life, she should be on the manor at the foot of Lishan Mountain in the suburbs of Beijing now. How could she be here? Lishan. Bai Luoshang remembered that when she was on Zhuangzi, there was a snowy day when she came out to see the snow scenery. At the foot of Lishan, she saw a beautiful red fox. At that time, in order to pursue the red fox, she separated from Banquet and the others. I only remember that I fell ill at that time, and after recovering from the illness, I returned to the capital. I really don't remember encountering Prince Jing. Did things change after being reborn and become different from their previous lives? For a moment, Bai Luoshang couldn't explain it, but fortunately, based on the situation in his past life, the people from the Bai mansion should be found soon, so he can finally feel more at ease. Chapter 2. Stupid. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Bai Luoshang woke up again, it was already 3 days later. As soon as I opened my eyes, I saw the blue curtain, feeling a bit dazed and unsure of where I was. After being stunned in bed for a while, I finally regained my senses and vaguely remembered being found and brought back by Mr. Zhong and others. Yes, Mr. Zhong. Bai Luoshang suddenly woke up from the bed, feeling dizzy, and collapsed onto the bed. Mississippi. Banquet, who had just entered the door, immediately put down the medicine bowl in her hand and quickly went to the bedside to pick up Bai Luoshang. A pillow was added at the head of the bed, allowing Bai Luoshang to lean against it. Miss, you scared me to death. You've been sleeping for 3 days now. Banquet's eyes were full of worry, but she was determined to die. If Miss really didn't find her, she would apologize to death in this village. I'm fine, I feel much better now. I just slept for a long time and don't have the strength on my body. You don't have to worry, Bai Luoshang comforted Banquet by helping her hand. The current Banquet still retains its youthful and energetic appearance, not the image of being beaten to the brink of death and tormented by others in the previous life to protect itself. That's great, this time she will definitely take good care of these people who love her. I will serve you to drink medicine. Banquet held the medicine bowl and fed Bai Luoshang one by one. Miss, it's a bit bitter. Please endure it, and after drinking, I'll give you some preserved fruit to taste. No need, it's not really hard. What's this compared to the hardships I've suffered in the backyard of the Qi Prince's mansion before? Banquet listened to what her young lady said with some other meaning, but couldn't think of anything, so she didn't think about it either. There is still congee on the small stove outside. I will bring it to you for you to use. Okay. After a few days of dripping rice, Bai Luoshang did feel hungry now. Mr. Zhong said you haven't eaten anything for a few days, so now you can only eat something light. You'll be fine later, and I'll have the kitchen make your favorite elbow for you. By the way, why didn't you see Cindy? Bai Luoshang asked while eating congee. Cindy was punished by Yang Mama for not taking good care of the young lady, and she was recuperated in the room. Speaking of Cindy, Penelia is a little distressed. After all, she is a little sisters who serves together. She is still sad when she is punished. But when it comes to the mistakes made by Cindy, it is indeed necessary to learn a good lesson. This is mainly my problem, don't implicate her, Bai Luoshang sighed. Who knew such a thing would happen in a simple trip? Miss, don't pity her. Cindy really needs a long memory, and it's also good for her. After all, we will go back to the capital in the future. If such a thing happens again, it won't be easy to get by with just a few punches. Yes, I didn't expect our little sister Banquet to have such a consciousness. I also thought that this incident could not be considered her fault, mainly because she was too stubborn, so I asked Banquet to find Zhong Lao to order good gold wound medicine and wipe Cindy. Don't worry, Mississippi Grandma Yang has already asked Mr. Zhong for medicine. That's good. By the way, what about the man who was with me in the cave? Did you bring him back? He put down his porridge bowl and wiped his mouth. Bai Luoshang remembered about King Jing, but he didn't know what happened to him. At that time, the person was with the young lady and was still burning, so Mr. Zhong brought the person back. However. But what's wrong? Bai Luoshang asked in confusion. However, he seems foolish. Silly. Bai Luoshang couldn't believe it. How could she be foolish? In the previous life, I never heard that Prince Jing was a fool. Is it because I was reborn and changed the trajectory of my previous life? Yes, his fever subsided the next day and he became sober, but he didn't even know what his name was, where he had never come from, and he didn't know anything. He was completely dumbfounded. Banquet thought of his silly appearance and realized that he was just a fool. Isn't it because of a head injury? Bai Luoshang thought to herself that when she saw Prince Jing, there was a deep wound on his head, and she didn't know if it was because of this wound. Mr. Zhong said there should be a blood clot blocking his head, which made him forget, and I don't know when he will recover. Thinking that if this person continues to behave like this, he is also a pitiful person. You help me tidy up, I'll go see him. According to the situation in the previous life, Prince Jing was still alive before her death. That foolishness should also be temporary. If she changed the trajectory of Prince Jing's fate and became a fool because of her rebirth, then her guilt would be huge. Bai Luoshang didn't dare to think anymore, so she went to see it with her own eyes and felt at ease. Miss, it's just the right time. Don't suffer from the wind and cold again. This person has been in the north courtyard all along, and he won't be missing. He's not in a hurry for this moment. Banquet quickly advised as she saw her own young lady about to get up. It's okay, I'll go take a look. Unable to resist the white robe, Banquet had to dress up her young lady with thick clothes. The weather is nice today. Although the snow and snow have not completely melted, the roads in the yard have long been cleaned by servants. Chapter 3. Not Stupid, Lost Memory. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although this manor is a separate courtyard, the Prime Minister dotes on his daughter. Since her daughter came here to cultivate, she has repaired the courtyard early on, and in recent years, it has also been renovated year by year. Although it is not as exquisite as the mansions in the capital city, it also has a unique charm. As it is built in accordance with the customs of Jiangnan, the garden is also a step-by-step scenery, reflecting each other. From the east courtyard where Bai Luoshang is located to the north courtyard, there is a small garden to pass through. Although it was winter, the plum blossoms in the garden bloomed very well. The red plum blossoms reflected in the snow, instantly improving Bai Luoshang's mood. It was also quite interesting to come here to appreciate the plum blossoms and drink tea during her leisure time. Guest. Why did you come here? It's so easy for me to find you. The servant's shout pulled the gaze of the master and servants back. I saw a man in black sitting under a plum blossom tree not far ahead, his black color quite prominent among the snow-covered plum trees. Miss, where is that person? Banquet really didn't know his identity and didn't know how to address him. Go and take a look. The two of them walked towards the person. The servant over there is still persuading the guest to go back. It's not good for this guest to be frozen in the cold and snow. Although this person is foolish, after all, it was Zhong Lao who came back, and this servant dare not neglect it. The people in the Prime Minister's mansion don't like to judge others. You go down first. Bai Luoshang looked at the servant and advised for a while. Prince Jing didn't react much, so he couldn't be really foolish. Young master, don't worry, this is my other courtyard. Do you still remember the little girl? After all, at this time, Bai Luoshang had never seen Prince Jing before, and she was not good at identifying herself, so she should not have known. It was you who saved me. Although he was in a coma, he was still conscious, and the sound he vaguely heard was this. Lin Xian still had some impressions. I heard someone say you don't remember your past. Yes, I feel like my head is empty and I don't remember anything, he said with great regret, not even knowing who he was. It should be because of the injury on your head. Maybe when the injury is healed, you can remember it, and you don't have to worry. In my impression, Prince Jing is a cold-faced prince. Coupled with the injury on his face, he has always looked like he is 1,000 miles away, so it is rare for him to be so conflicted. But I've forgotten my own name, what should I do? Then I'll give you another name. Choose a name. What name? We found you in the ice and snow, and it's also close to Suzia over there. Let's call you Su Han. What do you think? Bai Luoshang remembered that the mother consort of Prince Jing was surnamed Su, and Prince Jing had used this pseudonym before. Suan. Sure. Prince Jing always felt that the name sounded familiar, but he didn't know where he had heard it before, so he didn't want to agree to it. You can call him Su Gongzi in the future. Yes. The servants all responded well. Having a name can be a good way to address someone, but it doesn't feel appropriate to always refer to them as guests. You haven't told me your name yet. Su Han asked in reverse. My name is Bai Luoshang, and my father is the Prime Minister. This is our village on Luoyan Mountain, Bai Luoshang said without hesitation. Can I call you Luo Luo? Prince Jing looked serious. Luo Luo. This name was only called by those who were close to her family. It came out of Prince Jing's mouth, and Bai Luoshang felt a bit strange. Can't we? Bai Luoshang felt that she could see a hint of grievance on Prince Jing's face, and also thought that such an expression could not have appeared on Prince Jing. She must have misread it. Okay. Bai Luoshang was not quite sure. Normally, this is Zhuangzi and there are no outsiders, so it should be okay. It's okay. Okay, then I'll call you Luo Luo from now on. What does Luo Luo need me to do? Suan, alright, he will be called Suan in the future. Although he has amnesia, he can't do anything without repaying others for saving him. He doesn't remember his own things, so naturally he can't promise anything, but helping him do something is still possible. I don't have it for now. You should take good care of yourself first. If there is a need, I will come to you. This is Prince Jing, the prince. She is a small servant girl who cannot be manipulated. Does Luo Luo feel that I have lost my memory and cannot do things well? Oh, no, I never thought so. Why did you evade? I'm not thinking that your injury hasn't healed yet. You just don't want me to help. Bai Luoshang never knew that when he killed Prince Jing in the northern region, he would lose his memory and look like this. Isn't it a cold-faced prince who speaks less harshly? Why did he lose his memory and speak more, and continue to entangle with him? No, let's do it this way. In a few days, when I'm feeling better, I'm ready to learn medical skills from Mr. Zhong. If you're free, come with me and help Mr. Zhong with some medicinal herbs. Okay, I'll come find you in a few days. The matter was settled, and Su Han no longer pursued it. Seeing that Prince Jing finally agreed, Bai Luoshang quickly fled the garden on the grounds of needing to rest. Why did Miss suddenly think about learning medical skills from Mr. Zhong? Banxia thought that Mr. Zhong had requested Miss to learn medical skills from him several times before, but Miss did not agree. I am physically weak. If I could learn medical skills from Mr. Zhong, it would be good for me to take care of my body. But I can't stay up in bed for several days in this cold weather like now. Learning medical skills from Zhong Lao was something she had planned since she knew she was reborn. Back in the backyard of the Qi Prince's mansion, if I could have some medical skills, I wouldn't have been poisoned without realizing it. Chapter 4. New Medicine Children. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 5. Going back to the mansion. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 6. Capital City. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. 15. The snow that has accumulated for several days has almost melted, and the weather is sunny, suitable for travel. We were supposed to leave together today. But for some unknown reason, Su Han left 2 days early and in a hurry. He left a letter saying that he had gone to the north, but the person disappeared, which made Zhong very angry. Early this morning, Bai Muyao, who came to pick up his sister and return to the mansion, only saw the resentful Zhong Lao. Bai Muyao respected his sister's master very much, but because he respected her too much, it made Zhong Lao, who had always been carefree, impatient. Finally, after drinking several cups of tea, Zhong Lao ran away with his luggage as if fleeing. Yes, it just ran away. Bai Luoshang thought of what Zhong Lao had said before leaving. This kid used to look quite clever when he was young. How come he has grown up so mature now, more like your father than your father? Looking at her own brother again, with a surprised expression on his face, Bai Luoshang couldn't help but laugh. Luo, why does Mr. Zhong feel that he doesn't treat me well? I haven't done anything impolite, have I? Bai Muyao looked puzzled as he looked at Mr. Zhong's disdainful expression. No, the master is just a bit rushed, nothing else. Bai Luoshang quickly took her brother's arm and coquettishly said. It's getting late, brother. Let's hurry up and set off, otherwise we won't be able to make it back to the mansion for lunch. Faced with his sister's demands, Bai Muyao was not dissatisfied. Although he often came to visit his younger sister in Zhuangzi, as he grew older, he also became an official in the court, and his sister no longer adhered to him as much as before. Nowadays, this is even rarer. He is too happy to do so, and there is nothing he doesn't want. He just needs to hurry and have someone pack up and set off. This is not far from the capital city, only 1 or 2 hours away. When he comes, he rides a horse and takes his sister back. He must be driving a carriage, so he can't walk fast. The weather was sunny all the way, and the carriages and horses went smoothly. When entering the city in the mansion, the butler had already prepared everything. Lan Yuan, the courtyard of Bai Luoshang, was the best courtyard in the inner courtyard. She stayed here for a few days every year during the Chinese New Year, and the courtyard was organized according to her preferences. People often cleaned it up. Now when she comes back, she just tidies up her things and does a simple cleaning without much effort. The population of the Prime Minister's mansion was simple, and Prime Minister Bai Su and Bai Luoshang's mother, Jiang Shi, were a young couple with excellent relationships. After Jiang Shi passed away, Bai Su did not remarry, and there were no other wives or concubines in the mansion. Therefore, there were only 3 main sons in the mansion: Bai Su, Bai Muyao, and Bai Luoshang. Bai Su and Bai Muyao both lived in the outer courtyard, which had been vacant for a long time. Now that Bai Luoshang had returned and lived in the inner courtyard, Bai Su naturally gave the best to his daughter. Luo, first tidy up and see if there is anything else that needs to be added. Let the butler go to the warehouse to pick it up. If there is nothing in the warehouse, tell me and I will buy it for you. As soon as Bai Muyao returned, he stared at the servants in the mansion moving things for Bai Luoshang, afraid that they would accidentally damage his sister's treasure. Brother, take a break and have a good cup of tea. You keep an eye on me, the servants don't know how to do things anymore. I'm afraid they might be clumsy. Many of them just bought into the mansion, and I'm not sure. Bai Muyao also knew that he was a bit nervous and too nervous. He didn't need the young master to keep an eye on these small things like moving things, but he just didn't know what else he could do. If he didn't do something, he felt like something was missing, and he always felt that he should do more for his sister. Recently, there have been many people in the mansion. They all look unfamiliar. Bai Luoshang felt like she needed to find something to talk about to ease her brother's nervousness. Yes, my father said that you will come back to stay permanently in the future. You can't just have a few maids and mother-in-law. The legitimate daughter of the Prime Minister's mansion must have the aura to not mistreat you. In addition, the backyard also needs manpower, so I asked the butler to buy a group of people to come in. Sorry to bother my father and brother, Bai Luoshang recalled her past life. With such a good family, how could she bear to disappoint? A family doesn't need to be so polite. We don't have time to be happy with these things. As a daughter, living alone on the estate all year round is what makes you feel tired. Whoever's daughter is either being pampered in the mansion, or you. Sigh. It's all because my brother didn't take care of you well. Speaking of these, Bai Muyao was filled with guilt. If it weren't for not taking care of his sister, how could she have suffered like this? It was all his fault. Brother, what are you talking about? It's my own poor health, and it's not related to you. You don't have to blame yourself. When you were born, your health was very good. If it weren't for... Bai Muyao quickly stopped talking. His father had said that this matter cannot be said, and if my sister forgets it, she will forget it. She must not bring it up again. Because of what? Is there any reason why one's own health is not good? Bai Luoshang's face was full of confusion. If it weren't for my insistence on taking you to see the lanterns that time, which made you sick from the cold, you wouldn't have been like this. Since your illness, you have been in poor health. Later, when I met Master Hongyan, I said I wanted you to leave the capital and go to the outskirts of the capital to recuperate. Bai Muyao quickly said, relieved to see that Bai Luoshang didn't seem to want to ask again. Anyway, it's all my brother's fault. I shouldn't have taken you out, he said without looking at Bai Luoshang, bowing his head with a look of shock. It's all over now, isn't I okay now? Brother doesn't have to think too much, Bai Luoshang comforted as she looked at his brother's emotions. Is father coming back for lunch? Bai Luoshang heard as soon as she returned that her father had been summoned to the palace by the emperor. She didn't know when he would return, so she hasn't seen her father yet. Now thinking of diverting my brother's attention, I happen to ask. Father sent someone to say that lunch will be eaten in the palace, so he won't go back to the mansion. He should come back for dinner, so we don't have to wait for him at noon. Isn't it Shumu today? Why did the emperor suddenly summon his father, but what's the urgent matter? I heard that Prince Jing has returned to court. Looking at his sister's curious expression, Bai Muyao couldn't help but say a few more words. Prince Jing was supposed to have returned a month ago, but it is said that he was assassinated on his way back. The emperor even sent someone to search for him for a long time. Now that the person has returned, it is estimated that the emperor is ready to investigate this matter carefully. As long as father is fine, brother, let's hurry and have lunch. Bai Luoshang didn't want her own brother to know that Prince Jing's illness was cured by Zhong Lao. She stayed in their other hospital for a month and even made a medicine child for Zhong Lao for a month. She can only quickly take her own brother to eat and stop talking about this topic, otherwise she will worry about whether she will reveal her true feelings. After all, the one in the other courtyard is called Su Han. Chapter 7. Holding a Celebration Banquet. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After finishing lunch, Bai Luoshang rested on the small bed by the window and looked out at the perfectly blooming plum blossoms. In my past life, every time I finished a reunion dinner in the mansion, I had to rush to Zhuangzi the next day. I couldn't stay in the mansion for too long. Although I understood at that time that this was for my own health, I also had some complaints. Blaming why only I am like this, blaming the young ladies from other families, attending banquets everywhere, only I have to be in the village, blaming myself for being a young lady from the Prime Minister's family, yet not having such a person in the capital. Therefore, when facing a commoner like Shen Yulian, there is a sense of inferiority. It is precisely because of such inferiority and resentment that I fell into the trap of Shen Yulian and the king of Qi. In the end, I married the wrong person and even implicated my father and brother. Now that she has returned to the time when everything did not happen, she feels that she will no longer be as confused as before, dragging down her family. Miss, the master is back. Sini's voice pulled Bai Luoshang back. Father is back. Help me tidy up, I'll go and greet him. Bai Luoshang couldn't wait to go and see his father. In his previous life, due to his own foolishness, his father was eventually given the title of contempt for the imperial family and intended to rebel. He was dismissed from his position and sent to the frontier, and eventually passed away on the road. A lifetime of loyalty, only to end up in such a miserable fate. Miss, it's not urgent. The master still needs to change clothes when he comes back, and we still have time. Banquet looked at her young lady and comforted her urgently. Miss, the master has come over. After listening to Maidong's report, Bai Luoshang didn't have time to change her clothes again. She went out of the inner room and saw the Prime Minister Bai Su sitting outside. His father, who was not the same old as when he was sent out, still had the glory of being the Prime Minister of the dynasty. Although he was over 50 years old, he was still full of energy. Greetings to my father. Bai Luoshang knelt on the ground and made a big bow, both for the present and for his own lack of pride in his past life. Luo, get up quickly. Why did you suddenly give such a big salute? Don't hurt your knee. Bai Su quickly pulled his daughter up and finally came back. He didn't have time to make her bow in pain. Father, you asked me to kowtow to you properly. I haven't been able to be filial by your side for these years, is it my daughter's fault? Just let me kowtow to you, and my daughter's guilt will be reduced. Despite Bai Su's obstruction, Bai Luoshang firmly kowtowed her head. She was trying to redeem herself for her past life. Alright, just one is enough. Sini and Banquet should help your young lady up quickly. Bai Su felt that his daughter had truly grown up this time. Luo, from now on, you will stay at home with peace of mind. I heard from your brother that your body is also much better now. According to Master Hong'en, your calamity has also passed. When you are married, your father will find a good marriage for you. Father, your daughter has just returned, will you let her marry? Bai Luoshang secretly pressed the tears at the corner of her eyes and took Bai Su's hand, coquettishly saying. Okay. If you don't get married, don't get married. You can stay as long as you want, and when you want to get married, tell your father. Bai Su looked at his daughter, and he didn't ask for anything else. As long as her daughter was happy, he would do anything. He owes his daughter too much. His daughter has returned, and he is happy. Tonight, he still needs to bring good wine and chatter in front of his wife's plaque, letting her know that his daughter has grown up and become more sensible. It's really good. I'll go back and change my father's clothes, and our family will have a reunion dinner later. From now on, our family will all be together. As soon as Bai Su returned, he headed straight to Lan Yuan and had not had time to change his clothes. Now that his daughter was doing well, he felt at ease. In the future, I will be in the mansion and spend more time together. Thinking that I can see my daughter every day when I come back, my heart is as sweet as honey, so I am not in a hurry at this moment. After both of them had sorted out, the dinner in the main hall was also set up, and the family sat round and round. Bai Su took advantage of his happiness and drank a few more cups. As his older brother, Bai Muyao also had a rare drink with his father. After withdrawing from the dinner, Bai Su used his strength to say a few more words about the palace. The emperor has said that he will hold a celebration banquet for Prince Jing in a few days, and that it will be attended by ministers of third or higher rank. Prince Jing pacified the north this time and dealt a heavy blow to the Xiongnu royal court, causing heavy damage to various tribes of the Xiongnu. It is estimated that he can maintain peace on the northern border for decades, and he has made great contributions. He really deserves to be rewarded. Speaking of Prince Jing, Bai Muyao also expressed admiration. A great man should serve the country like Prince Jing and gallop on the battlefield. Although he cannot do it, it does not hinder his respect for border soldiers. Prince Jing, this time in court, there won't be much peace in the court. All the princes are quite old, and each has their own thoughts. As the Prime Minister, Bai Su is naturally loyal to the Emperor, and the other prince's actions are not small, but they can't hide it from him. Prince Jing's face is damaged. The Emperor once said in front of courtiers that Prince Jing will not inherit the throne, so he must be clear about it. Prince Jing doesn't want to, but he holds a heavy army and harbors a guilty conscience, which may not bring peace. Otherwise, where do you think the previous assassination came from? Today is the day for our family to eat. My father and brother are talking about these annoying things. No matter who he is, my father is loyal to the Emperor. Everything else is not something we consider. As Bai Luoshang looked at the topic getting heavier and heavier, she quickly switched sides. In this life, as long as her father is loyal to the Emperor and does not fall into the struggle for imperial power, he should be able to live a peaceful life. Right, or what our family's Luo said, that's not something we worry about. Bai Su was happy and patted his thigh, ignoring that. He picked up the wine from the table and drank it again. Father, it's better to drink less. It's getting late now, so I'll have someone cook some sobering soup and take a break. Watching his father drink again, Bai Luoshang quickly stopped him. If he drinks again, he will miss tomorrow morning. Okay, listen to Luo, stop drinking. Mu Yao, don't drink either. Hurry back and rest. He got up and urged his own son to go rest, muttering, it's still a thoughtful girl. It seemed like he was drunk. Bai Muyao was not hesitant either. He quickly helped his father to rest, and when he left, he didn't forget to tell him, Luo, you should also rest early. I will help my father return to his room, and this will be handed over to the butler. Okay, brother, please take your time too. Don't forget to drink the sobering soup. Be careful not to get a headache when you wake up early tomorrow, Bai Luoshang instructed anxiously. Don't worry, I won't forget. You should go back and rest quickly. Girls can't stay up late. I didn't expect my older brother to understand these things. Seeing that my sister.in.law will be blessed in the future, Bai Luoshang joked. Mu Yao hasn't left yet. Watching Bai Su start urging him again, Bai Muyao didn't care about his sister's teasing and quickly helped his father back. Bai Luoshang looked happy as her father and brother left. It's really nice to have such a family. Chapter 8. Going out for shopping. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, as soon as Bai Luoshang opened his eyes, it was almost time. Miss has never slept so long before. Otherwise, it's better to stay in your own mansion. Miss, you're sleeping soundly now. Banxia and Cindy, two maids, were serving the young lady while grooming and speaking. Yeah, living at home is definitely more reassuring than living in Zhuangzi. My father and brother are both here, and I feel much more at ease. I also sleep better. After resting, Bai Luoshang felt very good and was willing to say a few more words. Before, when I couldn't rest well, dressing and washing were almost done with my eyes closed. Let's wear the crimson one today. Miss should wear more bright colors like this, which looks festive and grand, Cindy said while changing Bai Luoshang's clothes. Bai Luoshang remembered that in her previous life, she rarely wore such a bright color on Zhuangzi. She always felt that Zhuangzi was the only one wearing such a bright color. The main reason for this was because she was angry in her heart. Since her rebirth, she has lost this gloomy aura, and instead, she appears more lively. This crimson color makes her more outstanding in temperament. After combing my hair, I don't even need to put on makeup. I've been staring at all the maids. What are you doing? Bai Luoshang looked at her maid in a daze. Miss, how come I have never found you so beautiful? You are truly breathtaking. Cindy was stunned for a while before saying this. So your young lady wasn't beautiful before? No, Miss has always been beautiful. That's right, I don't know how to say it, I just think Miss is more beautiful now. Cindy stuttered for a while but couldn't understand, only hating herself for not studying enough. Miss, she has returned home now. Her mood has improved, and she appears more energetic and her complexion has improved. Banksia glanced at Cindy's unproductive expression and said for her. Right, it's just that her complexion is better. Banksia can still speak, Cindy quickly nodded and praised. Cindy, you should read more books in the future, otherwise you won't be able to speak well. Bai Luoshang looked at the person in the mirror, and it was indeed different. When she was just reborn, although she had seen many things in her life, she was still worried about the future as Prince Jing was a big variable by her side. After returning now, seeing that my father and brother are both safe and sound, my heart has become much more secure, and I have naturally relaxed a lot. Yesterday's dawn was the best proof, and my mentality has naturally improved a lot. Miss, please spare me. I feel dizzy when I look at those words. If you have time, why don't you let me serve you more, said Cindy, who was most afraid of reading and felt a headache. If you can't understand an article, you still need to recognize the words. Isn't it that you love gossip the most? If you can't recognize characters, some gossip can't be seen. Cindy loves to inquire about gossip the most and is a good hand at gathering information. Bai Luoshang used this to provoke her, one by one accurate. Yes, for the sake of gossip, I also need to study hard. Cindy reluctantly agreed. Her young lady was getting worse and worse, and she liked to provoke her with this matter, but she couldn't refute it yet. By the way, are my father and brother still in the mansion today? The master went to the court at Mao Shi today and hasn't returned yet. The young master also went to Dali Temple early in the morning. The butler said that the young master usually eats lunch in the yamen and doesn't come back to use it. Miss, why don't you have some breakfast first? Thinking that Miss has not eaten yet, she must be hungry, Banksia mentioned. Is this already past breakfast time? Bai Luoshang looked at the time, feeling a bit awkward. Breakfast was too late, and lunch was too early. When the young master left, he specifically instructed our small kitchen in Lanyuan to prepare breakfast for you until you wake up, said Banksia, and asked Maidong to go to the kitchen to bring breakfast. Thinking about having lunch soon, Bai Luoshang didn't eat much either. After looking at the sun outside, it's still early and the weather is nice today. It should be nice to go out for a walk. Let someone tell the butler, let's go out and take a stroll. Bai Luoshang thought about her past life. Since entering the Qi Prince's mansion, she had been devoted to the Qi Prince Lin Yini. Lin Yini didn't like her frequent outings, so she never stepped out of the mansion except for necessary banquets. Thinking about myself at that time was really ridiculous. Great, I'm going to prepare something for going out now. Cindy was excited and often heard people say how bustling the streets of the capital were. She had long wanted to take a good stroll, but there were too few times she could go out. Miss, where are we going? Sitting on the carriage, listening to the lively sounds on the street, Xia couldn't help but want to lift the curtain and take a look. I heard that the jewelry in the treasure pavilion is good. Let's go take a look. Miss, it's just the right time to choose some beautiful jewelry to wear for the celebration banquet in the palace, said Cindy excitedly. The celebration banquet. When was it? Banksia looked puzzled, wondering where the little girl came from. As the young master said, he also gave the young lady a box of silver bills. He said he wanted the young lady to buy something she liked, and if she didn't want to go around, she would ask the steward of the shop to bring something to the mansion for the young lady to choose from. Cindy said, taking out a delicate box from her arms and giving it to Bai Luoshang. When did the young master give it? How come I don't know? The young master went to the yamen early in the morning, but didn't come to their courtyard. Banksia looked at Cindy and asked. When I first went to find the butler, he gave me what the young master had ordered, Cindy said calmly. Bai Luoshang opened the box and counted 10 silver bills, all of which were 1,000 taels of silver. TSK, young master is so generous and kind to our young lady, exclaimed Cindy, brother is really good, let's take a good stroll today. Bai Luoshang felt warm in her heart. Although her brother is not good at words, he is really good to her sister. Zhenbao Pavilion is the largest jewelry store in the capital, with 3 floors in total. The jewelry on each floor is different, and each floor has its own price. Of course, the higher the floor, the higher the price. Ladies from wealthy families in the capital are willing to choose jewelry at the Treasure Pavilion. The jewelry here not only uses good materials, but also has better styles than other houses. It is said that the owner behind it is extremely powerful, otherwise it would be possible to open such a large jewelry shop in this land of gold in the capital. Let's take a stroll layer by layer when we first come here, and see if you like anything. If you're interested in me, I'll buy it for you. Bai Luoshang trusts these 2 maids who have been with her in her past life. If it weren't for them, her life in the Qi Prince's mansion would probably have been even more difficult. Miss, yeah, but the maids themselves also have silver, and you usually reward us quite a lot. You still have some small jewelry to buy. We already have a lot of jewelry, so you don't need to buy it. If you want to reward us, you can give us silver directly. Banquet said, and Cindy replied busily. Chapter 9. Rumors of Bad Reputation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The servants in the Treasure Pavilion are all clever people. When they saw the servant in the white robe at the door, they quickly welcomed them in. Miss, what would you like to order? May I introduce you to you? The servant said kindly, let's take a quick look at it for the first time we're here. Miss, the first floor of our Treasure Pavilion sells ordinary jewelry, the second floor is a boutique, and the third floor is our town store's treasure. You can take a look at them all, even ordinary jewelry. Our store is more exquisite in materials and styles than others. You can take a look at them all. The waiter heard that Bai Luoshang wanted to take a look first, but he didn't slack off and slowly introduced it. If you're tired, we have a tea break by the window on every floor. You can rest. Then I won't disturb you. If you need anything, please feel free to call me. Okay. If there's anything we need, we'll get back to you. Banquet answered for her young lady and sent the waiter down. Miss, this Treasure Pavilion is really different. It is truly the largest jewelry store in the capital. Look at the exquisite jewelry on this counter. Cindy's face was full of novelty. Take a look and see if there's anything you want to buy. If not, let's go to the second floor and take a look. Bai Luoshang didn't think much of these ordinary jewelry, after all, as the legitimate daughter of the Prime Minister's mansion, although she was on the estate all year round, her clothes and jewelry were also exquisite every season. No, I just don't buy it because I'm curious. Cindy quickly covered her purse. As a maid, why buy such good jewelry? Isn't silver fragrant to keep on her body? Seeing that neither of them had any intention of buying, Bai Luoshang went up to the second floor. The jewelry on the second floor has become much more exquisite, and there have been fewer people. Except for a few older women, there is only one girl with a maid left. The entire second floor is very clean. I believe there are even fewer people on the third floor. After all, there are not many people who can afford to buy the treasure of Xindian. Bai Luoshang strolled around and fell in love with a set of ruby and white jade headpieces. One set was gorgeous and the other was elegant, which looked very attractive. Without hesitation, they all bought it. After a stroll, I felt a bit tired and found a seat by the window to rest. Oh, isn't this Sister May? Sister May is here to buy noodles. A coquettish voice came over, causing everyone to look sideways. I saw a girl wearing a goose yellow rui pattern jacket and a girl in a pink dress walking up with a maid, heading towards the girl who had been upstairs before. The girl turned around when she heard the sound, and a hint of impatience flashed on her face. She still smiled and replied, "Hello Meng, hello Shen." "Hello Sister May, I didn't expect to meet Sister May here," the woman in pink responded while bowing. Listening to the sound, Bai Luoshang was momentarily taken aback and quickly looked over. The woman in the goose yellow clothes was Meng Xiu, the young lady of the Duke of Fu, and the woman in the pink clothes was Shen Yulian, the concubine of the former king of Qi. She was the one who deceived herself into entering a cage and ruined her life. If it weren't for her in her past life, how could she have had a deep affection for the king of Qi? How could she have separated from her family and, like a madman, wanted to marry the king of Qi? For a moment, resentment surged in her heart, and Bai Luoshang almost couldn't control her emotions. "Miss, what's wrong with you?" Banquet quickly asked as she looked at something amiss with her. "It's okay, just suddenly feeling a little uncomfortable. I just need to take a rest." Bai Luoshang calmed down for a moment. "Ladies and gentlemen, why don't you take a stroll first? I've been out for a long time, so I'll go back first." Mei Shuqing said as she was about to take her maid with her. "Sister Mei, why are you in such a hurry? Just buy all the jewelry and leave." Meng Xiu gestured to his maid to stop the two of them. "I don't know what Miss Meng means." Mei Shuqing restrained her smile and asked seriously. "Just talking to Sister Mei. Why doesn't Sister Mei disdain talking to the people of my Meng family?" "Yes, I heard that Sister Mei is someone who wants to become the top scorer in a new subject." "Miss Meng, don't falsely accuse our young lady. Our young lady didn't do those things." Lu Er defended her own young lady, but these things should not ruin her reputation. "False accusation. Now who doesn't know that your young lady is reincarnated as a fox spirit? She first colluded with the top scorer of the new science and technology, and was accused of suppressing her father and mother and not wanting her. The reincarnation also seduced my brother. My brother's soul has been seduced by you, and he insists on marrying you, a lost star at home." Meng Xiu said in disgust that his brother has been banned by the family recently because of this, and it's all because of her. A person who has suppressed his father and mother still wants to marry into the Fugua Gong mansion, but there is no family. Meng Xiu, you are too extreme. I have never had much to do with them. I have already explained your brother's situation to him clearly. Don't pester me, don't falsely accuse anyone. Mei Shuqing was a beautiful lady from a wealthy family, with a rich family of poetry and literature from the Grand Tutor's mansion. She couldn't say the word seduce and was very angry. Lu Er quickly helped her sit down on the side. "It's okay, who believes it? I'm about to fall out with my family and insist on marrying you. Are you saying it's nothing to you?" Meng Xiu shouted loudly. "Your brother has a falling out with his family. What's up with Miss Guan Mei? Do beggars outside say they want to marry you, and you still have to marry him?" Bai Luoshang couldn't bear to see them bullying Mei Shuqing. The Mei family had a clean and upright family tradition, and Mei Taifu only had one son, who was Mei Shuqing's father. After his father passed away, his mother passed away one after another, leaving only Mei Shuqing behind. After several rounds of filial piety, she also grew older. In addition, Mei Taifu had already become an official, and the lintel of the Taifu mansion was no longer the same, making the marriage even more difficult. But no matter what, Mei Shuqing is indeed a good woman. She remembers that she never married in her past life. Meng Xiu's new top scorer, Jiang Cheng, was originally a disciple of the Grand Tutor. Both of them were already engaged, but unexpectedly, after Jiang Cheng became the top scorer and was favored by the princess, he immediately withdrew his marriage and married the princess. As for Meng Xiaoan, the young master of the Fugua mansion, she had also heard of it in her previous life. She said that she fell in love with someone at first sight after seeing Mei Shuqing's poem at a poetry fair and wanted to marry them back. Mei Shuqing had never had any contact with him from beginning to end, which was purely an unfounded disaster. "Who are you? Mei Shuqing has nothing to do with you, he wants you to take the lead." Meng Xiu didn't expect someone to take the lead on Mei Shuqing, and turned around and said sternly. "It's just that there are too many of you bullying too few. As a young lady from the government, it's not good to hear rumors of bullying others like this, right?" Bai Luoshang said as she looked at her. Judging from the young lady's age, she must have reached the age of a loyal relative. The people who come to this treasure pavilion are all major aristocratic families. If it is rumored that the young lady is harshly criticizing others, it may affect her reputation. Meng Xiu only then noticed that besides them, there were many married women around him. If he were to go too far here, it would not be good to spread any bad reputation. Looking at Bai Luoshang's exquisite face, the clothes on her body were also newly produced red plums from Nishang workshop. It is said that she worked as a light embroiderer for half a year. I felt a wave of jealousy in my heart, but thinking of what I had said before, I could only grit my teeth and say, "Let's go," before leaving with the group. Chapter 10. First Friend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Thank you very much, Mississippi. Mei Shuqing breathed a sigh of relief as she saw Meng Xiu walking. She stood up to thank Bai Luoshang and bowed to her peers. "Miss Mei, don't worry, I just can't stand them bullying people." Bai Luoshang quickly helped them up. "My surname is Mei and my name is Shuqing." "I don't know how to address the girl." "My surname is Bai and my name is Luoshang." "It's good to call me Luo Luo." "It seems that Miss Mei is older than me. How about I call you Sister Mei?" Bai Luoshang thought in her past life that Mei Shuqing could be considered a talented woman in the Beijing women's circle, and her character was still good. Now that she has the opportunity to make friends, she will not miss this opportunity. "Of course, but as you can see, my reputation in the capital is not very good, and dating me may affect your reputation," Mei Shuqing said with some desolation. After all, if someone helps her, and her reputation is tarnished by her own harm, she feels uneasy and thinks that someone like her should cut her hair and become an ant. Sister Mei has never done those things herself, so why bother with others' opinions? What do those people have to do with you? As long as the people close to you believe in you, I believe Sister Mei won't do such a thing. Bai Luoshang looked at Mei Shuqing seriously, hoping that such a good girl would not be harmed by rumors like in her past life and waste her life. "Luo Luo. Thank you. Thank you." Upon hearing Bai Luoshang say that she believed in her, Mei Shuqing burst into tears. She needed such trust too much. This world is too unfair to women, and it is clear that she is the victim of the entire incident. In the end, everyone thought it was her fault. They all wished they could force her to die. It seemed that only when she died could she be cured. She didn't have thought about dying either. If it weren't for her grandfather, she would have died long ago. "Miss, don't be sad. You should be happy," Lu Er comforted softly on the side. "Yes, Sister Mei, it's all over." Bai Luoshang didn't expect a simple sentence to have such a big impact on Mei Shuqing's heart, indicating that this matter had been suppressed in her heart for too long. "I'm too excited to make you laugh," Mei Shuqing said with tears in her eyes, choking up. Just after venting, her heart was much more comfortable. "Not to mention those bad things, this is my first time shopping in the capital. Sister Mei is familiar with the capital, can you take me on a tour?" Bai Luoshang changed the topic for a moment. "Of course, although I don't go out often, I grew up in the capital since I was young, and most places still know about it." Mei Shuqing wiped her tears again, adjusted her state, and slowly said. "Luo Luo, is this your first time in the capital? Where do you live at home?" "Not really, it's just that I haven't wandered much before. I used to live in a villa in the suburbs of Beijing." "Shuangzi. Are you being held captive by the family?" "Oh, it's mine, shouldn't you ask these questions?" Mei Shuqing heard that she lived on Shuangzi, thinking that her family was not favored and had made a mistake, so she couldn't ask again. "Miss Mei, you misunderstood. Our young lady needs to rest and recuperate at Shuangzi because of her poor health," Banquet quickly explained. "Ah, I misunderstood. I'm sorry, Luo Luo. I thought it was. Do you think I made some mistake and was demoted to Shuangzi?" Yes. Mei Shuqing felt a bit embarrassed because of her misunderstanding. The Prime Minister's mansion only includes our young lady and master. Our master likes to come over and never demotes the young lady to Zhuangzi, explained Sini. The Prime Minister's mansion. At the Bai Luoshang's mansion in Dali Temple. Mei Shuqing asked in surprise. Dali Luoshang. It's my brother's official position, right? Does Sister Mei know her brother? Bai Luoshang didn't expect that Mei Shuqing would know her own brother. They didn't have much interaction in their past lives. Well, I don't think I know him either. Bai Luoshang is rigorous in his work, talented in his appearance, and very famous in the capital. Many people know him, Mei Shuqing quickly explained. Oh, I didn't even know my brother was so popular in the capital. Bai Luoshang remembered that in his past life, many people wanted to act as a matchmaker for his brother. After all, the Prime Minister's mansion had a simple family and there were no concubines, making it the first choice for many young women's husbands. They didn't know your brother had such a beautiful and refined younger sister, Mei Shuqing looked at Bai Luoshang. Now that she was still small in stature, she was already a perfect beauty. In the future, if she grew a little longer, she still didn't know what kind of stunning she would be. Sister Mei is joking, I'm still young. Sister Mei is the most beautiful woman. Mei Shuqing belongs to the kind of people who don't feel particularly stunning at first sight, but the more they look, the better they look. Suddenly thinking, it would be great if Sister Mei could be with her brother. After all, in the past life, neither of these two people got married until their own death. In this life, if I could match them up, there might be a good outcome. The more Bai Luoshang thought about it, the more she felt that it was a good idea, and her gaze at Mei Shuqing became even more enthusiastic. Luo, what are you thinking? Mei Shuqing asked uneasily. It's okay, where are we going to hang out later? It's almost noon now, let's go to Wangjiang Tower for lunch. It's my treat. Mei Shuqing looked at the sun and found that the meal time was just right. Okay, I've never eaten outside before. But I heard it's difficult to book a spot at Wangjiang Tower. Is there any place we can go now? Wangjiang Tower can be considered an old restaurant in Beijing, with good business and pre-booked. It's okay, the owner of Wangjiang Tower received my father's help in his early years. In order to repay my father, he specially reserved a private room for our family. We have a place to go whenever we go. However, our family is small and we usually don't go there to eat. I've been in the spotlight of Sister Mei this time. I can't wait any longer. Let's go quickly, said Bai Luoshang as she pulled Mei Shuqing out of the door. Okay, let's go now.